In the wild, confrontations can unfold in an instant, yet carry intense consequences. Each species brings its own approach to survival, whether through power, speed, timing, or coordinated effort. When these strengths collide, the outcome can be decided in mere seconds. These moments reveal some of the most striking encounters ever witnessed in nature. In many areas of the African savanna, wild dogs often dig burrows in open fields to raise their very young cubs. An adult pack may constantly move around the area to observe and protect. But when most of the attention is focused on the cubs at the mouth of the burrow, a greater danger begins to approach from afar. A male lion suddenly emerges from the edge of the grassland and quickly accelerates toward the burrow. It dashes across the open space in seconds and reaches a cub before the wild dogs can fully react. Warning cries immediately erupt, and the adults begin running around to create distance. The situation becomes more tense when several other lions also approach the area. The wild dogs are forced to gradually retreat from their original position to avoid greater risk. In such moments, young individuals are always the most vulnerable. Encounters between predators are often more than just about food. Often, it's a competition for territory and control of living space. On the vast savanna, a single moment of carelessness can change the entire course of events. In the arid lands of Africa and South Asia, the cobra is one of the reptiles that many other animals fear. Its potent venom and rapid attack reflexes give it a formidable position in the ecosystem. However, there is a smaller species that frequently dares to confront it, and this encounter begins when a mongoose approaches. The mongoose constantly moves around the snake, maintaining a very short distance, but always ready to dodge. Each time the snake extends its head, the mongoose instantly retreats and returns to another position. After several probing attempts, it suddenly lunges forward, seeking an opportunity to approach from behind its opponent's head. In the decisive moment, the snake quickly slips out of the encirclement and withdraws from the area. The confrontation ends when both separate, with neither completely in control of the situation. Alertness and quick reflexes help the snake avoid great danger. Encounters between mongooses and snakes often depend on speed and timing. Mongooses are known for their very quick reflexes and often have the upper hand in many similar situations. But in nature, just a moment's delay can completely change the outcome. On the African savannas, impalas typically move in herds to remain alert to surrounding dangers. An adult weighs approximately 90 to 160 pounds and relies on quick reflexes to maintain a safe distance. But as the herd becomes distracted while grazing, a low, close to the ground movement begins to silently approach. Hidden in a low furrow, a leopard lies still, observing. It patiently waits and only moves when the distance becomes favorable. When an impala gets closer than it's safe, the leopard leaves its hiding place and accelerates in a brief approach. The distance quickly narrows in just seconds. The impala tries to change direction to create space, but the approach is too close. The chase ends quickly, and the leopard gains control. Leopards don't rely solely on speed. Their greatest advantage lies in their ability to observe for extended periods and choose the right moment to act. On the savanna, patience and precise planning often prove more effective than a prolonged chase. In many open woodlands and grasslands of Africa, leopards typically live and hunt alone. An adult male leopard weighs around 110 to 200 pounds and relies on its quietness and tree-climbing ability to avoid major conflict. But when an individual inadvertently moves into an area controlled by lions, the familiar tranquility quickly disappears. From the front, a lion detects the leopard's presence and immediately approaches. The distance closes rapidly, forcing the leopard to react at a disadvantage. The encounter is brief, and the leopard cannot maintain a safe distance from its larger opponent. After only a short time, the leopard is severely injured and forced to retreat from the area. Without its pack to assist, it must find its own way away from the lion's territory. In this confrontation, the lion clearly has the advantage, being a predator with superior size and strength. For solitary predators, serious injury is often a significant risk. Without a pack to support them, their ability to hunt and survive can be drastically reduced. On the savanna, sometimes even a small territorial mistake can completely alter the chances of survival. On the African savanna, buffaloes are one of the most defensive herbivores. A mature individual can weigh nearly 1,500 pounds and usually move closely together in a herd to minimize risk. But when one temporarily separates from the group, the familiar balance immediately shifts. Several lions begin to approach silently, gradually closing the distance. The buffalo reacts quickly, turning repeatedly and using powerful kicks to maintain space. The lions are not in a hurry. They patiently pursue, applying steady pressure to gradually weaken their opponent.
Där kan stretcha, toss and fuck them under.
The noise causes the nearby buffalo herd to return. Some charge, forcing the lions to retreat temporarily to avoid a direct collision. But when the buffalo realize their comrade is no longer standing and gradually withdrawing, the lions return to the area they left empty. Wild buffalo are known for their strong herd-protecting instincts. with many individuals willing to return to support their fellow buffalo in danger. However, lions often succeed through perseverance and group coordination. On the vast savanna, outcomes are often determined by endurance and collective strategy. Along the jungle coasts of the Americas, jaguars are the top predators in the region. An adult can weigh from 150 to over 250 pounds and usually lives entirely alone. Each controls its own territory, so when two adults accidentally meet, tension quickly builds. On a sandy beach, two male jaguars approach and begin observing each other. Both maintain a short distance, move slowly, and demonstrate their strength with cautious strides. Neither wants to yield territory immediately, and within moments, the confrontation becomes tense. After a short while, one begins to retreat a few steps and lower its stance. This is a clear signal that it chooses to avoid direct conflict. The remaining animal held its position on the sand, and the confrontation ended when its opponent gradually left the area. In the world of solitary predators, avoiding injury is often just as important as winning. A serious wound can impair hunting ability for weeks. Therefore, in many cases, retreating at the right time is the key to long-term survival. On the dry grasslands of Africa, spotted hyenas are renowned for their pack coordination and remarkable endurance. An adult typically weighs between 120 and 190 pounds and possesses jaws strong enough to handle tough bones. As multiple individuals gather around leftover food, the competitive atmosphere between predators becomes palpable. The leftover food from a previous hunt lies on the ground, and the hyena pack quickly approaches to take advantage of the opportunity. From the edge of the grassland, a male lion emerges and moves closer, immediately drawing the attention of the entire hyena pack. It approaches swiftly and holds off a hyena for the first few seconds, creating a sudden tension. Almost immediately, warning cries erupt. Many hyenas returned to the center of the area, approaching and putting pressure on their fellow to move out of the disadvantageous position. The two sides maintained a short distance for several tense minutes. Finally, thanks to the coordinated efforts of the entire pack, the endangered hyena was moved out of the area. Lions still have a clear advantage in direct confrontation. However, hyenas possess the advantage of numbers and pack cohesion. This is why they rarely abandon their pack when in danger. On the savanna, individual strength is important, but the coordination of the entire pack is sometimes the deciding factor. Across these encounters, each species reveals a distinct way of enduring, some through force, others through speed, and many through precise cooperation. Control is never absolute, as even a brief hesitation can shift the balance. In these fleeting moments, the wild exposes its tension and complexity. It is a world shaped by constant pressure, where outcomes are never fully predictable. In nature, no two hunts are alike, but every chase begins with observation and waiting. When the opportunity arises, speed and coordination instantly replace the previous stillness. The prey reacts with formation and stamina, while the predator takes advantage of every small misstep. These are some of the most dramatic hunts and chases ever recorded. On the North American grasslands, adult bison can weigh from 1,000 to over 2,000 pounds, with outward curving horns and shoulders as high as a moving wall. When threatened, bison herds often huddle together in a circle, heads turned outward to protect the young in the center. But at the edge of the herd, a pack of gray wolves has begun moving in a wide formation. The wolves don't charge in immediately. They constantly change direction, trying to force the herd apart and drag a weak individual out of the protective circle. When the bison suddenly switch to running, the defensive formation opens up for a brief moment. A young one can't keep up the pace and falls behind. The pack immediately closes the gap, coordinating their efforts to close in until the target is under control. The hunt ends quickly, enough to provide food for the entire pack for days. A wolf's success doesn't rely on sheer strength alone. Patience, coordination, and exploiting moments of prey disorganization are key. On the vast savanna, tactics often outweigh size. Near the edge of the grassy clearing where sunlight streamed down, adult male impalas, weighing between 100 and 150 pounds, and capable of speeds of nearly 50 miles per hour when escaping, were known for leaps of over 10 feet to change direction unexpectedly. However, when the two males locked horns in a short but fierce struggle, their attention was entirely focused on the opponent in front of them. In the shade of the bushes, a leopard remained low and motionless. It watched the movements of the two impalas, waiting for the moment they both turned sideways, exposing a gap behind them. When one slipped slightly in a powerful thrust, the leopard would instantly surge forward with a short burst of speed, lunging straight at the outstretched individual. The entire sequence lasted only seconds. The impala didn't have time to turn to exploit its inherent speed and was quickly subdued. Leopards succeed not through long chases, but through patience and choosing the right moment. On the savanna, victory often belongs to the one who knows how to wait. On the edge of the low grasslands, herds of wildebeest move in long lines, each individual weighing between 400 and nearly 600 pounds and capable of maintaining speeds of almost 50 miles per hour over short runs. Their strength lies in numbers and synchronized movement. However, when a cheetah alliance appears in the distance and begins to close the gap, pressure builds at the edge of the herd. The chase begins almost immediately. One cheetah accelerates decisively, forcing the herd to change direction abruptly. In that disruption, a slower reacting individual is separated from the main group. The remaining cheetahs quickly coordinate, moving in an arc to prevent the prey from returning to the herd. The distance is closed in a matter of seconds. Thanks to their coordinated efforts, the target is controlled and the hunt ends quickly. With cheetahs, success rarely comes from individual speed. By separating a weak or slow individual from the herd, group tactics significantly increase the chances of successful hunting on the vast savanna. On open ground and dry gravel, adult guinea fowl, weighing about 3 to 4 pounds, usually move in flocks to increase their early warning capabilities. They can take off quickly, but only fly low and for short distances, relying heavily on collective reflexes to escape. When the entire flock is preoccupied with foraging and constantly looking down at the ground, their vigilance begins to wane. Hiding at the edge of the bushes, a leopard observes every small movement. It maintains a close enough distance to shorten its reaction time. When the flock suddenly flaps its wings and takes off in a chaotic flurry, the leopard immediately springs forcefully from its hind legs, aiming directly at the individual that has just left the ground. The moment is fleeting. The bird is caught before it can reach a safe altitude and is quickly subdued. The successful hunt is not due to endurance, but to the precise timing of the takeoff. In nature, reflexes and patience often determine the outcome. Even a slight slowdown in flight is enough to give the predator the chance to complete its decisive jump. In the middle of a wide river where crocodiles reign supreme, a male lion weighing approximately 400 to 500 pounds is forced to swim across to the other side. On land, it is a top predator with impressive strength and acceleration. But when its body is submerged in deep water, each leg movement becomes slow and inflexible. As the lion approaches the middle of the river, the water behind it stirs slightly. A crocodile approaches from underwater and suddenly lunges to attack from behind. The impact throws the lion off balance, forcing it to spin and struggle violently to escape the pull. The tense struggle lasts only a few seconds. Thanks to its decisive reaction and the short distance to shore, the lion escapes the grip and swims quickly to land. It reaches the shore safely, avoiding serious injury. There is no absolute winner in this encounter. On land, the lion has the advantage. But in the aquatic environment, the crocodile holds the upper hand. When entering the territory of another species, the balance of power can quickly shift. In the open field where two ostriches were foraging, their nearly 9-foot-tall bodies and weights that can exceed 250 pounds made them one of the largest birds still in existence. Their long legs allowed them to run at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour for short distances. However, their large size also made them difficult to maneuver when surrounded, and a pack of cheetahs recognized this opportunity. One cheetah took the lead, accelerating to close the gap. Speeds reaching nearly 60 miles per hour allowed it to quickly close in on its target. When the ostriches turned to flee, the other cheetahs immediately joined in, moving in multiple directions to restrict their escape routes and create a pincer movement. The chase ended when the entire group simultaneously closed in and brought down one individual. With prey as large as an ostrich, individual speed alone was not enough to guarantee success. Precise coordination between individuals is what ultimately determines the outcome. On the open grasslands, cooperation is the strategy that allows predators to overcome their own limitations. On the frigid tundras of North America, adult caribou can weigh between 250 and 400 pounds and move in large packs to increase their ability to detect danger. Their long legs help them traverse deep snow and maintain a steady pace over long distances. But when the prolonged migration season depletes their strength, the gray wolf pack begins to follow closely behind. The wolves don't rush to speed up. They spread out in a wide formation, constantly changing direction to put pressure on the edge of the pack. When a young individual stumbles on soft snow and slows down for a few seconds, the protective distance is immediately widened. The pack accelerates at the right moment, taking turns closing in to prevent prey from returning to the main group. The chase doesn't last long before the target is controlled. The outcome favors the pack. For the caribou, strength lies in the synchronization of the entire pack. For the wolves, the advantage comes from patience and coordination. In harsh environments, even a single moment of separation from the group can change the course of survival. On the edge of the savanna, a herd of African buffalo moved slowly, each individual maintaining a safe distance to protect one another. Adult buffalo are massive and quick to react to danger. As the herd advanced through the tall grass, a male lion lay silently among the stalks, waiting for the opportune moment. The lion kept its body almost motionless to avoid detection. When the distance was close enough, it suddenly leapt from its hiding place. The buffalo scattered in panic. In that moment of chaos, a slower reacting individual was separated from the group. The lion quickly locked onto its target and accelerated for a short distance. It avoided a long chase to prevent unnecessary energy expenditure. In just a few decisive seconds, the buffalo was subdued. The hunt ended swiftly. The lion's success depends not only on strength, but also on choosing the right target and timing. The element of surprise always plays a crucial role. On the vast steppe, a single mistake can determine the outcome of survival. In the wild, confrontations erupt as species are forced to defend their territory or assert their dominance. Each combatant enters the conflict with its own weapons, from precise memory and keen sense of smell to calculated group coordination. These documented battles expose the decisive moments of attack and the delicate balance between dominance and retreat in nature. On the vast, dry savanna, elephants are known for their exceptional memory, able to recall the location of water sources dozens of miles away and identify individuals they've encountered years before. For adult males, memories of hierarchy and territory never fade. This very memory carries with it a history of accumulated competition. As the two male elephants approached, the air grew heavy. They raised their heads, spread their ears, and took slow but decisive steps. Suddenly, they charged at each other, their tusks clashing violently with a thunderous roar that shook the ground. The struggle dragged on in palpable tension. Each tried to maneuver its tons of pounds of weight onto its opponent. After minutes of exhaustion, the younger elephant began to retreat, its breathing becoming labored and its steps slowing. Finally, it turned and retreated from the disputed area, leaving the older elephant to hold its position. The fight ended without serious injuries. In nature, retreating at the right time is not a defeat, but a way to conserve strength for future competition. On the riverbank mudflats, rhinos rely on their keen sense of smell and hearing to track any movement around them. Although their eyesight isn't particularly strong, they can detect smells and sounds from a distance, allowing them to react promptly. This vigilance means any creature that approaches too closely is immediately identified. A hippo approaches within a short range, seemingly just to probe. The rhino turns, lowers its head, and thrusts its horns forward as a clear warning signal. The hippo opens its jaws in a show of menace, and the distance between the two bodies, weighing thousands of pounds, quickly narrows. As several more rhinos appear behind, the situation changes dramatically. The hippo pauses, observes for a few seconds, then slowly backs away from the contested area. The encounter ended without serious injury, underscores that in nature, recognizing when to retreat is an essential part of survival instinct. On the edge of a cold stream in North America, a standoff between two bears ended when one individual conceded defeat after establishing their dominance. Bears possess a superior sense of smell, capable of detecting scents from miles away, along with spatial memory that allows them to remember areas with salmon, berries, and familiar movement patterns. This territorial memory makes encounters between adult males almost inevitable. Initially, both stood a few paces apart, emitting low growls as a warning. They circled, observing each other's every move. When the distance narrowed enough, both suddenly lunged, their hundreds-pound bodies colliding in a powerful, relentless thrust. The struggle was brief but intense. Each tried to maintain balance and find a more advantageous position. After a few minutes of exhaustion, one began to slow down and retreat in small steps, avoiding further escalation of the conflict. Both eventually separated and maintained a safe distance. There was no prolonged chase. In nature, many battles like this are aimed at establishing power rather than eliminating an opponent. Strength is displayed, but restraint is what helps maintain order and minimize risk. On the open savanna, hyenas maintain an advantage thanks to their tight pack structure and organized coordination. Each individual understands their place in the hierarchy and reacts quickly to shared signals. This synchronicity forms the foundation for the intense confrontations that follow. When a lioness moves away from the pride, many hyenas immediately close the gap. They advance cautiously, taking turns applying pressure. The lioness must constantly turn to maintain her defensive position, and the situation quickly becomes unfavorable. Just as the danger increases, other members of the lion pride appear and enter the contested area. Both sides close in, using strength and teamwork to gain control of the space. The hyenas retreat briefly, then advance again, demonstrating persistence and clear calculation. After several tense minutes, both sides gradually separate from the combat zone. Neither side can maintain absolute dominance. In the natural environment, the balance of power is constantly shifting depending on numbers and levels of coordination, and every conflict carries real risks. On an open clearing near the edge of the bush, the hyena ultimately secured the majority of the prey. Leopards are renowned for their adaptability, able to hunt alone and drag heavy carcasses up trees to prevent theft. This careful calculation makes each of their decisions highly strategic. When a hyena approached the carcass, the leopard immediately turned and tried to gain control. The two struggled in a tight space, each move aimed at maintaining a favorable position. Pressure increased as the hyena refused to back down and continued to press closer. After a few tense minutes, the hyena used its weight and tenacity to seize the main part of the carcass. The leopard was forced to retreat to the edge of the area. However, just as the hyena was distracted, another leopard appeared and quickly dragged away a portion of the prey. The struggle ended without absolute control belonging to a single individual. In nature, strategy and timing often determine outcomes just as much as strength. The ability to observe and wait for the right moment can change the entire course of events. Amidst the low-lying dry grass, the cobra relies on its ability to sense vibrations and temperature changes to monitor its surroundings. Despite having almost no eyelids and moving very close to the ground, it perceives movement with remarkable accuracy. When approached too closely, its body instantly switches to a defensive posture. The mongoose approaches with short, quick strides. The snake raises its hood, lifts its front body high, and keeps its head still, ready to react. The mongoose continuously moves around, dodging each attack within a very tight space. After many dodges, the snake's reaction speed begins to slow. The mongoose seizes that moment, lunging and biting forcefully at its opponent's head. In just a few seconds, the confrontation is decisively tilted in favor of the smaller animal. The battle ends quickly, but leaves a clear lesson. In nature, speed, reflexes, and timing can compensate for differences in size. The precision of each movement sometimes determines the entire outcome. Along Africa's wide rivers, hippos hold a nearly unrivaled position in their waters. An adult typically weighs between 3,000 and over 4,000 pounds, with a massive body and a bite powerful enough to defend their territory. Even at rest, they monitor every movement around them with lightning speed. Late one afternoon, a lioness approached too close to a hippo resting at the water's edge. The distance between the two narrowed to just a few steps. The hippo immediately sensed the lioness's presence and turned its massive body toward her. The lioness took another step to probe. The hippo's reaction was almost instantaneous. With its thousands of pounds of weight, it lunged forward and briefly grabbed the lioness's head. The lioness broke free with all her might and escaped the danger zone without serious injury. Hippopotamuses rarely become prey to lions under normal circumstances. When their resting space is invaded, their size and strength create a clear advantage. This confrontation shows that on the riverbank, the advantage doesn't always lie with the predator. In the vast ocean, where light rarely reaches the bottom, the dominant predator, orca, moves silently, observing each target. Every wave is a sign of pursuit. Every movement is a preparation for the perfect attack. In this world, there are no permanent enemies, only adaptation and survival instinct. Orca uses intelligence, strength, and tactics to control the ocean. This is the story of a strategic predator where instinct and intelligence become one. Orcinus orca, the killer whale, is a mammal at the top of the ocean food chain, representing strength and high cognitive abilities, 20 to 30 feet long, weighing 6,000 to 12,000 pounds. Orca can reach speeds of 40 miles per hour, much faster than a great white shark. Their brains, weighing about 15 pounds, are the largest of any marine mammal, enabling them to process information and communicate complexly. Orca live in pods of 5 to 30 individuals, each member of which has a clear role in movement and hunting. They coordinate through organized tactics such as wave washing to create waves to break ice, beaching to crawl ashore to hunt seals, and encircling to circle prey. After hunting, they often jump to the surface, blow air, and make sounds, behaviors considered to be communication and group bonding responses. Each group of orca has a unique sound system called a dialect that helps them recognize each other. Their organized social behavior and ability to learn through observation indicate a high level of intelligence. Orca demonstrate a remarkable ability to adapt and cooperate beyond instinct, making them the most efficient and intelligent predators in the ocean. Antarctica is a harsh, icy land where temperatures often drop below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The penguins, which stand about 3 feet tall and weigh nearly 80 pounds, are flightless birds that can swim at speeds of 20 miles per hour. Their black and white plumage camouflages them well against the surface of the sea and the ice. As the penguins rest on the ice, a group of orcas appears, moving in circles to create large waves to break the ice. A frightened bird dives into the water, diving deep through a narrow gap in the ice to escape. After several escapes, it swims close to a tourist boat and jumps onto the deck, seeking safety. The orca continues to circle but does not attack again. The scene shows the contrast between the intelligent, patient orca and the solitary, agile penguin, demonstrating the limits of survival in the wild. Humpback whales, 40 to 52 feet long and weighing nearly 88,000 pounds, are giant creatures with a fierce instinct to protect their young. When in danger, they join forces to form a circle, with the adults facing outwards, protecting the young inside. The image is both tragic and sacred, symbolizing maternal love in the deep sea. Killer whales do not dare to attack the adults head-on. Instead, they split into groups, patiently applying pressure to separate the young from the protective circle. Sometimes, the orca even pretends to be a mother, lifting the young to the surface to deceive them, an act that shows incredible calculation and cunning. When the young are exhausted, the circle closes, ending quickly. This encounter is the clearest proof that, in nature, strength alone does not determine victory. Intelligence, patience, and strategy are the factors that help killer whale stay at the top, where the smartest always survives. Dolphins are intelligent, agile, and active creatures that typically live in pods of 10 to 20 individuals. They communicate using sound waves and are capable of almost instantaneous responses, creating stunning synchronized movements. In the ocean, dolphins are rarely easy prey, but for killer whales, it's a test of strategy, not just speed. Orca forms small formations, moving in layers to surround the dolphins. Some individuals jump up to 20 feet out of the water to cut off their opponent's escape routes. As a dolphin begins to tire, the circle closes. The attack is swift and precise, the result of perfect coordination between members of the pod. This battle between two intelligent species shows that, in the natural world, speed is only part of strength. True victory belongs to the one with superior vision and strategy. Orca is not just a predator, but a leader of the sea, where intelligence always reigns in the fierce current of survival. In the polar and temperate seas, seals and sea lions are a common sight on ice floes or rocks near the shore. They rest, sunbathe, and sometimes are unaware that, beneath the cold water, lies the planet's most intelligent predator. The killer whale. For the orca, this is more than just a meal. It's a test of perfect strategy and skill in the wave-washing technique. Groups of orcas swim in parallel and synchronize, creating large waves that tilt or break the ice, causing seals to fall into the water. When necessary, they are ready to use the beaching tactic, rushing straight up the shore at high speed to grab sea lions, then quickly turn around and slide back into the sea. A small mistake can cause them to run aground, facing the risk of losing their lives, demonstrating the extraordinary courage and calculation of this species. This hunting behavior is not simply instinct. It is a cultural skill taught through many generations, demonstrating the orca's ability to learn complex social skills. Each attack is a combination of strength, intelligence, and recklessness, proving that in the harsh ocean, only those who dare to take risks with new strategies can stand at the top of the survival chain. Ascrictius robustus gray whales migrate more than 6,000 miles from the Arctic to Baja California, measuring 45 to 50 feet long and weighing 60,000 to 80,000 pounds. They have great endurance but are still targets for killer whales. Orca groups are divided into groups with specific missions: troublemakers, calf attackers, and mother blockers. When calves are separated, they attack repeatedly until their prey is exhausted. The hunt is fast, demonstrating coordination and precise tactics. It is a clear demonstration that orca wins through organization and patience, not just strength. Stingrays live in shallow waters near the bottom, have flat bodies 6 to 10 feet wide, and weigh 200 to 300 pounds. They move with graceful, flapping wings, hide in the sand, and use their venomous tails to defend themselves when attacked. Orca approaches from behind, taking advantage of its ability to move silently to get close to its prey. When close enough, it will whip its tail violently, stunning the stingray. Orca does not eat meat, but swims around observing, possibly to practice hunting skills. This behavior shows the intelligence and ability to control instincts, the true power of the ocean's top predator. The great white shark, Carcharodon carcharias, is the ultimate symbol of ocean fear. Measuring 13 to 20 feet long and weighing more than 2,000 to 4,000 pounds, it has a long, slender body, razor-sharp teeth, and an extremely sophisticated electromagnetic sense. Its speed of about 25 miles per hour makes it an agile predator that has been at the top of the food chain for millions of years. But its time has changed with the arrival of the killer whale. Orca attacks are not random. They move in tight formation, using tactics that attention, while another circles behind and suddenly flips the shark onto its back, putting it into a state of tonic immobility. With the shark unable to fight back, the shark is hit precisely in the liver, its most energetic part. The moment was more than a hunt. It was a symbol of a natural shift in power, intelligence over instinct. The killer whale didn't just defeat the great white shark, it redefined what it meant to be the dominant force in the ocean through strategy, cooperation, and absolute control. In the coldest, most frigid regions of the Earth, every movement carries risk. Polar bears don't hunt with blind brute force, but with cold calculation and patience. The captured moments reveal a world where victory and defeat are separated by mere seconds. These aren't mere attacks, but the most brutal survival decisions ever filmed. Polar bears are the largest land predators of the Arctic. An adult male can weigh from 900 to over 1,300 pounds and measure up to 8 feet from head to tail. Beneath their skin is a thick layer of fat, several inches deep. This fat provides stable insulation when winter temperatures can drop below -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Their outer coat is thick, fluffy white fur. It helps keep them warm, waterproof, and blends perfectly with the surrounding ice and snow. Their large paws act like natural snowshoes. They distribute their body weight across thin ice, allowing them to move steadily without easily falling into the cold water. Their strong skeletal structure and powerful limbs allow them to sprint quickly over short distances. Each movement is decisive and precise. Polar bears have exceptionally keen senses of smell. They can detect prey from over 60 feet away, even when the prey is hidden beneath thick ice. The true strength of a polar bear doesn't just come from its muscles or size. It's a combination of physical prowess, cold tolerance, and senses refined over thousands of years of evolution. These factors explain why polar bears can survive and dominate one of the harshest environments on Earth. In the Arctic, scarcity silently alters behavior. As food dwindles, polar bears begin to move closer together. Confrontations arise over leftover food on the ice, familiar routes, or proximity to areas where they raise their young. When they encounter each other, the atmosphere becomes noticeably tense. But fighting rarely happens immediately. Dominant signals are sent first. The bears stand upright, their front legs spread wide. A low, rumbling warning sound echoes in the cold air. This is a measure of strength. The goal isn't to inflict injury. In the Arctic, injury means a loss of survival. Therefore, most confrontations end when one side backs down. However, when food becomes extremely scarce, those limits can be broken. Hunger pushes behavior beyond safe boundaries. Adult male bears can become a danger to even their cubs. In that situation, the mother bear faces the most severe challenge. Her weight is often only about half that of the male. Meanwhile, the cubs weigh only about 20 to 30 pounds, completely dependent on their mother's presence. Every move becomes a calculation. Every decision carries clear risk. As the ice melts, living space shrinks rapidly. Food is dispersed. Pressure builds with every step. Motherhood becomes an extreme battle for survival. The effects of these pressures don't stop at a single individual. They directly impact the reproductive capacity and long-term survival of the species. In the Arctic, motherhood is more than just caregiving. It's a constant series of choices between safety and risk, in a world where mistakes are not an option. As the ice melts, access to seals becomes more difficult. Polar bears are forced to adjust their survival strategies. Their familiar energy sources are no longer readily available. During these periods, bears switch to lower-calorie options. They climb high coastal cliffs, reaching seabird nesting grounds seasonally. Eggs don't provide much energy, but they are more readily available and accessible. Small, sporadic gatherings accumulate over time. They aren't an ideal meal, but they're enough to sustain life until a greater opportunity arises. In a changing world, adaptation isn't about seeking new strengths. It's about the ability to accept less. and to survive long enough to wait for the next opportunity. Walruses are the massive powerhouses of the Arctic. A mature individual can weigh up to 4,000 pounds, larger than most surrounding threats. They live in herds, relying on their numbers for safety on the ice. Their long tusks and the powerful thrust from their massive bodies make even polar bears hesitate. Every approach carries clear risks. A small mistake can be costly. Therefore, the bear rarely chooses a direct confrontation. It stands at the edge of the herd, observing in silence, waiting for the slightest signs of disorder. A slower-moving cub, a weak individual unable to react in time, or the moment the walrus herd is disturbed. The bear begins to apply pressure, without haste, without fanfare. Its mere presence is enough to cause the herd to shift. As panic spreads, order crumbles in a matter of seconds. That's the only time to act. Quick, precise, and finished. Many times, the opportunity slips away. The bear is forced to retreat, accepting defeat to conserve energy. But when successful, the reward is enormous. A single hunt can yield up to 150,000 calories, enough to sustain life for many harsh days. This confrontation isn't decided by sheer strength. Intelligence and adaptability are the key factors. In the Arctic, survival isn't about being the strongest, but about knowing when to advance and when to retreat. Beluga whales are small whales that live near the Arctic Circle. Their pale white bodies help them blend in with the ice and light. Belugas usually move in small groups, preferring shallow, calm waters. When the tide rises, narrow channels open up close to the shore. That's when the boundary between sea and ice becomes fragile. The polar bear waits at the edge of the ice, observing the water. Every tidal beat is memorized. When a beluga gets too close to the shallow area, the approach is quick and decisive. Most attempts end in failure. The beluga turns around just in time, slipping out of reach. Each such failure consumes precious energy. When the environment changes, the bear doesn't stubbornly stay put. It retreated quietly, returning to the familiar tactics that had sustained it before. Survival lies in the ability to try at the right time and knowing when to stop when the price becomes too high. In the icy ocean, seals depend on tiny breathing holes in the ice. These are the fragile threads connecting the cold water below to the air above. Each time they surface, seals reclaim their lives in just a few short breaths. Polar bears know the value of these breathing holes. In their memory, the locations of the holes are recorded like an invisible map. They move slowly between familiar points, without haste or deviation. Once they've chosen a spot, the bear lies down. Hours pass in absolute silence. No movement, no energy expenditure, only prolonged waiting. Beneath the ice, the seal is forced to return to its familiar breathing hole. It's not a choice, but a survival instinct. The moment the ice surface trembles slightly, everything changes. The attack happens in a few decisive seconds. Short, precise, pouring all its weight into a single movement. Either success or the chance vanishes instantly. A successful hunt can sustain a bear for up to 10 days. But even with perfect skill, the success rate only ranges from 10 to 20%. Each approach is a gamble of energy. Try your luck, or accept going hungry for many more days. In the Arctic, victory doesn't come from the number of strikes. It comes from memory, patience, and the ability to choose the right moment to act. Salmon return to the Arctic rivers seasonally. This brief migration brings the rivers to life. Small in size, but full of energy, they are a fleeting food source for the summer. Polar bears appear silently. They don't chase through the deep water. The bear waits in shallow, narrow stretches of the river, where the current forces the fish to slow down. The water rises and falls. Salmon dart past. The pounce happens in a short, quick, and precise moment. Sometimes it hits its target. Sometimes it's just a splash. Wins and misses alternate constantly. Most hunts yield only modest results, but each fish caught helps replenish the energy lost during the summer. This hunt cannot replace larger prey, but it keeps the body functioning, enough to prolong endurance. In the Arctic, survival sometimes doesn't lie in abundance. It lies in having enough strength to get through the next day. From the fragile breathing holes in the ice to the shallow riverbanks of the fleeting summer, the life of a polar bear is a constant series of choices between risk and surrender. Each recorded hunt not only reveals the harsh conditions, but also exposes the intelligence, patience, and true limits of strength.